It was supposed to be a night of dominance, a night where the bloodline reclaimed control, but instead, it became a night of betrayal, and now, the silence has been broken, because just 24 hours after Solo Sikoa turned his back on Roman Reigns and brutally attacked Jacob Fatu on SmackDown, Rikishi broke silence, and sent 3 words warning to Solo Sikoa, and the words weren't scripted. They weren't delivered into a WWE camera, they were raw, private, and they were leaked. Tonight, we uncover the fallout from the betrayal no one saw coming, and the furious backstage response from the man who raised these warriors. Rikishi has fired back, not as a WWE Hall of Famer, not as a company legend, but as a father, and in his own words, Solo has shamed the bloodline. The footage comes from a dimly lit corridor backstage at the TD Garden in Boston. Security footage muted but crystal clear. Rikishi is seen pacing furiously near the private entrance reserved for talent family. He's surrounded by 2 WWE agents, both trying to calm him down. Solo Sikoa walks around the corner, and the moment he sees Rikishi, he freezes. The agents move aside. Rikishi storms forward. No microphones. No cameras, but the body language tells the whole story. Rikishi points directly at Solo's chest. His hands tremble. Solo stares blankly, cold, distant. The same look he had when he drove his thumb into Jacob Fatu's throat just minutes earlier on live TV. We spoke to a WWE production staffer who witnessed the confrontation. Rikishi lost it, they said. He wasn't cutting a promo. This wasn't for the cameras. He called Solo a disgrace. Said he made a mockery of everything the family stood for. And then came the line that shook even the toughest backstage hands. He looked Solo in the eye, the staffer said. And he said, "I didn't raise a traitor." That moment wasn't meant to go public, but it did, and now, the WWE locker room is shaken. Let's rewind. Because to understand Rikishi's fury, we need to go back to what happened just before SmackDown faded to black. Jacob Fatu stood tall, the Samoan werewolf, the man who had finally chosen loyalty to Roman Reigns over chaos. Roman, returning after weeks of silence, extended his hand. Jacob accepted. The bloodline, fractured and bloodied, looked ready to reform under one banner. Until Solo struck. No warning. No build-up, just a thunderous Samoan spike to Jacob Fatu's throat, then another and another. Roman, stunned, tried to intervene, but was met with a low blow from Jeff Cobb and a steel chair from Tama Tonga. SmackDown ended not with unity, but with Solo Sikoa standing over Jacob's broken body, alone. That image was a declaration: the old bloodline is dead. Solo Sikoa is done waiting, and now, Rikishi has made it clear, he doesn't support what comes next. Insiders say Rikishi had been quietly advising Roman and Jacob during this family civil war. While never appearing on screen, he'd attended 2 tapings in the past month and had begged WWE not to pit his sons against each other. He warned creative, if this story ends with brother versus brother, someone's soul will be scarred forever. No one listened, and now, that warning has become reality. What makes this betrayal even more painful is the bloodline behind the bloodline. Rikishi is not just a father. He's a patriarch. He trained Solo. He protected Roman after the death of Lidi Sr. He watched Jacob Fatu claw his way out of the Indies with nothing but grit and blood, and now? 2 of his sons are broken. One by betrayal, the other by ego. Sources say Rikishi refused to leave the building after the attack. WWE officials begged him to exit quietly. He refused. He stayed in Roman's locker room for over an hour, reportedly holding Jacob's hand as medics checked his ribs and neck. He was devastated, one witness said. He kept shaking his head. He said, "This ain't us. This ain't how we lead." But the pain wasn't just physical. For Rikishi, this was spiritual warfare. This was the Anoa'i dynasty being poisoned from within. This was the brotherhood he helped build, being shattered by power plays and ego, and the man leading that destruction is his own son. Insiders say Rikishi is now pushing to appear on television, not in a match, not in a segment, but in a reckoning. One source close to WWE creative claims Rikishi has proposed a face-to-face confrontation with Solo at SummerSlam. He reportedly told Triple H, "Let me look him in the eyes. Let me ask him if this title is worth losing your soul." WWE is said to be considering it, because the reaction from fans has been seismic. On X, formerly Twitter, the hashtags #BloodlineBroken and #RikishiReturns trended worldwide within minutes of the footage leaking. Thousands of comments flooded in, "Rikishi better slap some sense into Solo. This ain't leadership, this is lunacy. Jacob deserved better. Roman deserved better. Rikishi warned them. But not everyone agrees. Some fans believe Rikishi is part of the problem, that he chose sides too early, that by quietly backing Roman and Jacob, he left Solo feeling abandoned. Isolated. One user posted, Rikishi picked Roman. He never backed Solo. Don't act surprised now that Solo snapped. Could there be truth to that? Is Solo's betrayal a cry for independence, or is it pure ambition, nothing more than the cold hunger of a man who waited too long in someone else's shadow? Whatever the answer, Rikishi isn't forgiving him, not yet and maybe not ever. According to one veteran WWE producer, Rikishi has drawn a line in the sand. He told me, this isn't about ratings. This is about family. And if Solo wants to wear the crown, he better be ready to pay the price. That's not a promo. That's a prophecy, and what happens next may redefine not just the Bloodline, but WWE itself, because what started as a faction has become a civil war, and now the elders are stepping in. Rikishi's warning has gone viral. One leaked text message between Rikishi and an unnamed producer reads, "Don't call me unless you're ready for truth. Solo doesn't need a spotlight. He needs correction. And correction, it seems, is coming. SmackDown next week is already rumored to feature a family summit, a closed-door meeting of the elders, producers, and tribal spokesman. Roman Reigns may not even be cleared to appear after Solo's surprise chair assault. Jacob Fatu is said to be nursing fractured ribs and a swollen trachea, and Solo, he's walking into that arena alone. No father. No support, just ghosts. Ghosts of loyalty abandoned. Of honor betrayed. Of a family legacy crumbling beneath the weight of its youngest king, because Solo Sikoa may have claimed the crown, but now the man who built the kingdom is coming to take it back. There's a saying in the Samoan culture, you may inherit the throne, but not the respect. And right now, Solo Sikoa is learning that the hard way. Because ever since he declared himself tribal chief by force, brutally betraying Jacob Fatu and standing over Roman Reigns without saying a word, he's gained power, but lost his soul. And Rikishi, he sees it. According to close family confidants, Rikishi has gone silent on Solo. No calls. No messages. No contact. He's treating his son like a stranger, and in Anoa'i tradition, that speaks louder than any promo. One backstage source described it like this, it's not rage anymore. It's heartbreak. Rikishi looked like a man in mourning after the show. Like he just watched his own legacy go up in smoke. But here's the most haunting part, Rikishi warned them months ago. In an off-air backstage meeting, sources claim Rikishi told Roman, Jacob, and Solo during a private sit-down, if this family breaks on TV, it won't be a story. It'll be a scar we never recover from. And now, that scar is bleeding. Let's take a deeper look at what Solo's betrayal really cost. Jacob Fatu, once seen as the next enforcer of the Bloodline. Fiercely loyal. Explosive in the ring. And, after months of chaos, finally aligning with Roman Reigns to stabilize the family. That loyalty, rewarded with a steel chair to the spine. Roman Reigns, the tribal chief. The longest reigning Universal Champion in modern WWE history. Betrayed by the man he entrusted with his protection, Solo didn't just dethrone Roman, he desecrated him. And now, the Anoa'i elders, those who've stayed silent through years of faction warfare, are reportedly calling emergency meetings to discuss how to respond. Yes, you heard that right. Real-life family elders. Not just producers. Not just creative. WWE is reportedly working directly with the Anoa'i family to carefully script the next steps, out of respect. And out of necessity, because this isn't just a Bloodline angle anymore, this is heritage, and heritage, when broken, doesn't heal easily. Insiders say that Rikishi has been offered a chance to appear on SmackDown in 2 weeks, possibly as part of a Judgment of the Elders segment. The idea? A public confrontation. One father. One son. Rikishi. Solo, but Rikishi is said to be refusing the script. He wants it real. He's reportedly told WWE, if I'm coming on TV, I'm speaking from the heart. No lines. No teleprompters. If you want my fire, you let me bring it unfiltered. WWE is considering it, because they know, when Rikishi talks, people listen, and what Rikishi wants to say, Could be explosive. A leaked internal pitch sheet includes a confrontation scene where Rikishi publicly strips Solo of his family blessing. It would be the ultimate dishonor. Live. National. Permanent. It's never been done before in WWE because the truth is, no one has ever challenged Solo like this before. Roman always protected him, Paul Heyman enabled him, even Tama Tonga and Hikuleo walk in his shadow, but Rikishi, he sees right through him. He doesn't see the new tribal chief. He sees the scared kid trying to fill bigger boots than he was ready for. He sees the anger, the desperation, the hunger for control, and he's ready to tear it all down with one sentence. One line that's been whispered in rehearsal halls and production rooms: you don't lead us because you wear the crown. You lead us when you can carry the weight of it. That's the message Rikishi wants to send, and it's why WWE is preparing for one of the most emotionally charged segments in Bloodline history. Meanwhile, Jacob Fatu has been pulled from house shows indefinitely. Insiders say he's healing, but not just physically. Jacob's taking this personally, one producer said. He trusted Solo. He trusted the Bloodline. Now he feels like the only true warrior left. And he's not just healing, he's preparing. Could we see Jacob versus Solo at SummerSlam? It's possible. Could Rikishi be in Jacob's corner? Even more likely. And if that happens, the energy in the arena will be volcanic, because fans aren't just watching a match. They're witnessing a family reckoning. Let's not forget, the Anoa'i legacy is unlike anything in wrestling. Yokozuna, Umaga, the Usos, The Rock, and at the center of it all, Rikishi. A man who never chased titles the way others did, because for him, the real gold was respect, and what Solo did was disrespect of the highest order. One final note. An anonymous source close to WWE security claims Solo's private locker room door has been marked, not by staff, not by talent, but by a single white Samoan shell, placed outside the door and never acknowledged. In Polynesian custom, that shell represents shame. No one knows who placed it, but Rikishi has been wearing one around his neck since the betrayal. Coincidence? Or warning? We may soon find out, because the silence is breaking and the elder has spoken. This is no longer just a wrestling storyline. This is family warfare, and when Rikishi returns to SmackDown, Solo Sikoa won't just face judgment from the fans. He'll face judgment from blood. There's tension in the air at every WWE arena now, and it's not about who holds the titles. It's about something far older, something far deeper. It's about the soul of a dynasty, and Solo Sikoa, he's at the center of the storm. Since his betrayal of Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu, WWE has been in lockdown mode. Talent meetings have grown shorter, backstage interviews are more guarded. Veterans like Randy Orton and AJ Styles have pulled creative aside, asking for clarification on how deep this bloodline fracture is going. But the truth is, no one knows, because this isn't a scripted feud anymore. It's a family implosion, and Rikishi, he's no longer trying to contain the fire. He's ready to walk through it. Insiders now confirm that Rikishi has officially requested creative control over his upcoming appearance. That's rare. That level of freedom is reserved for legends, The Rock, Cena, maybe Triple H himself. But Rikishi wants no filters. He wants the world to hear what a father says to a son, when the son forgets who he is, and that promo, if it happens, will change everything. Here's what we've learned. The planned segment, possibly airing just days before SummerSlam, will take place in the center of the ring. No flash. No pyrotechnics. Just a mic. One spotlight. One legacy. Rikishi will stand alone, and then Solo's music will hit. Or maybe it won't, because according to one producer, Solo Sikoa hasn't agreed to respond yet. He's stonewalling, the producer said. He's playing it cold. He says if Rikishi wants to talk, he can talk alone. Solo won't come out just because his father demands it. But Rikishi isn't worried. In a leaked locker room audio, recorded during a production meeting, he says plainly, "I'm not here to talk to Solo Sikoa. I'm here to speak to Setify. My son. The boy who used to shadow me backstage, hungry, grateful, quiet. I want to know what happened to him." And that line? That line is cutting through the WWE universe like a blade, because fans now realize what's at stake. This isn't just about tribal chief status, this is about identity. Solo Sikoa has become a man feared by all, except the one who raised him, and Rikishi isn't afraid. In fact, He's never looked more dangerous. Reports suggest WWE is building towards something massive. Not just Solo versus Jacob, not just Rikishi confronting his son, but a Bloodline summit, a closed-door tribal council on live television. Complete with traditional elements, family elders flown in, and a format resembling real-world Samoan reconciliation rituals. If approved, this would be the most culturally authentic storyline WWE has ever presented, and the ending could be devastating. There are whispers of a symbolic moment, a scene where Rikishi, surrounded by the elders, removes his Samoan shell necklace and places it at Roman's feet, a silent gesture that recrowns Roman Reigns, not just as champion, but as the rightful tribal chief. But it wouldn't end there, because then Rikishi would turn not toward the ring but toward Solo and in silence, walk past him. No eye contact. No words, just rejection. That's the moment WWE wants, and that's the moment Solo is resisting, because Solo Sikoa may be feared. He may be ruthless, but deep down, he still wants one thing: validation, and Rikishi is the last man on earth who can give it to him. Or take it away forever. Let's talk about Jacob Fatu. He hasn't spoken publicly. No social posts. No interviews, but insiders say he's been back in training, harder than ever. Jacob's coming for war, one trainer said. He's not coming back to cut promos. He's coming back to hurt somebody. And that somebody is Solo. It's almost poetic. 2 cousins. 2 enforcers. 1 legacy, broken by betrayal. 1 path, leading to SummerSlam and the stakes, not just the future of the Bloodline, but the future of WWE itself, because let's be honest, without the Bloodline saga, WWE's last 3 years don't exist. No Reigns dominance. NOJ versus Roman. No Usos civil war. And now, Solo wants to rewrite that history, with himself as the ruler, but history doesn't forget, and Rikishi won't let it. In fact, a recent WWE talent sheet reveals something chilling. That's the moment WWE is building toward, a father's last warning, and Solo's final test. If he accepts it, we may see redemption, but if he rejects it, then the only way forward is war. And when Jacob Fatu returns, bloodied, unhinged, focused, Solo won't be facing a cousin. He'll be facing a vengeance that's been building since the night Roman fell. This is more than storyline, this is more than wrestling, this is family on the brink of collapse, and Rikishi, he's ready to stand in the middle of it, not to stop it, but to expose it. And when he does, Solo Sikoa will have to answer one question, not from the fans, not from the locker room, but from the man who gave him his name. Do you lead from pride, or do you lead from pain? The Bloodline may survive this storm, but not all of its members will walk away whole. And Solo Sikoa, he may have claimed the title, but Rikishi is about to claim the truth. The silence around Solo Sikoa isn't strength. It's strategy, but it's also dangerous, because while Solo says nothing, everyone else is speaking. And now, whispers from inside WWE are growing louder. Whispers that Roman Reigns himself has authorized a private message to Rikishi. According to one senior producer, Roman, still recovering from Solo's blindside attack, was shown backstage footage of Rikishi's outburst. His reaction: he didn't get angry. He didn't even speak. He watched the video, leaned forward, and said, "Tell him I'm listening." That message has already reached Rikishi, and if it's true, then the Bloodline story is no longer about who holds the crown, it's about who still honors the name. Let's break this down. Roman Reigns may be down, but he is far from done. Sources confirm he's been in communication with Jacob Fatu, who reportedly wants to finish what Solo started. There's talk that when Jacob returns, he won't be looking for gold. He'll be looking for blood, not to rejoin the old Bloodline, but to rebuild it, with Roman, with Rikishi, with truth, and what stands in their way. Solo. A king without loyalty. A leader without love, because even within his own faction, cracks are forming. Tama Tonga and Hikuleo have been uncharacteristically quiet on social media. Jeff Cobb is reportedly unhappy with creative direction, and Paul Heyman, gone silent since SmackDown. No tweets. No interviews. Not even backstage sightings. Some say he's waiting for the dust to settle, others say he's switching sides again, because if Rikishi and Roman are truly uniting behind Jacob Fatu, then the real tribal war is just beginning. And Heyman, he's always been a survivor, but here's the twist no one saw coming. According to leaked travel documents, Rikishi has been booked for SummerSlam weekend, not just for an appearance, but for a closed-door rehearsal with Jacob Fatu. That's right, Rikishi and Jacob together planning something, and when asked by staff if he's returning to SmackDown, Rikishi reportedly answered, "Not for storylines. For closure." What does that mean, closure? For whom? For Jacob, for Roman, or for Solo? Because when fathers speak of closure, it usually follows consequences, and Solo Sikoa's consequences may be arriving sooner than expected. Another insider, a former WWE agent now working freelance, revealed that Triple H has approved a non-sanctioned match concept for SummerSlam. A match with no rules. No pinfalls, just damage. Jacob Fatu vs Solo Sikoa. The stipulation: Bloodline leadership is not on the line, honor is, and an A. Leaked version of the promo package, Rikishi's voice narrates the ending. You hear him say he betrayed his brother. He shamed his family. Now he must face the reckoning. And I'll be standing in the middle, to see who survives. The plan, if approved, is to end the match not with a celebration, but with a decision. Rikishi will walk down the ramp after the carnage. He'll look at both men, one broken, one barely standing, and he will declare who the family follows, not based on victory but based on integrity, because Solo may have the crown, but Jacob has the scars earned by loyalty, scars given by betrayal. And Roman? He will be watching, because while he may not appear in person, his presence will be felt. One final rumor adds more fuel to the fire. A small production note leaked just one word, a word scribbled in a SummerSlam script draft, a word placed under the final segment: reunion? Is it possible? Could Roman Reigns, Rikishi, and Jacob Fatu form the final evolution of the Bloodline, a new legacy built not on fear, but forgiveness and fire? Or will Solo Sikoa crush every tradition beneath his boots, and rise alone? The WWE Universe is watching, the family is waiting, and Rikishi is ready to speak, ready to judge, ready to bury the son he once raised. If it means saving the legacy he helped build. Solo Sikoa wanted to be tribal chief, now he must face what comes with that title. And if the rumors are true, if Rikishi walks to that ring under the SummerSlam lights, he won't be coming for applause. He'll be coming for truth, and the truth is heavier than the crown. As the sun rises on the road to SummerSlam, there's one question echoing louder than all the others: what happens if Rikishi turns his back on Solo, on live television? Because for all of Solo Sikoa's rise, his brutality, and his ambition, one truth remains: he's never faced judgment from the man who gave him everything until now. Multiple sources inside WWE Creative now confirm that SummerSlam's final act may not be a match, but a verdict, not declared by commentary, not announced by the ring announcer, but delivered in silence, by Rikishi's presence alone. One high-level executive revealed a conversation overheard during production rehearsals: we're not writing a winner. We're writing a legacy decision. The fans need to feel the weight of it when Rikishi walks down that ramp. And that ramp may become a funeral march, because Solo's ascension hasn't just cost him allies, it's cost him the soul of the Bloodline. And now, the ghost of everything he destroyed is coming back, carried by Jacob Fatu, scarred but unbroken. Let's not underestimate what's at stake here. If Rikishi publicly denounces Solo, if Jacob defeats Solo in a non-sanctioned, no-rules match, and if Roman Reigns endorses Jacob from the shadows, then the Bloodline name passes to a new generation, and Solo becomes a relic. A man exiled by his own family. A self-crowned king standing on scorched earth. But what happens if Solo wins? What if he beats Jacob? What if Rikishi walks down that ramp, looks his son in the eye, and still turns away? That may break Solo Sikoa for good, because power, once gained, is easy to chase, but family leaves a scar when it's gone. Sources say WWE is preparing alternate outcomes, one of which involves a post-match segment so shocking it may shift the Bloodline narrative for years. Here's what we know from that pitch. After the match, Solo is left barely standing. Jacob lies unconscious. Rikishi walks down the ramp. He kneels beside Jacob. He lifts Jacob's hand and places the traditional Samoan shell necklace around his neck. Then, slowly, he rises and looks at Solo. Solo is breathing heavy, face twisted in defiance, but in his eyes, regret. Rikishi reaches into his pocket and pulls out a second necklace. He looks at it, tightens his grip, then he drops it to the mat and walks away. No words. No music. No spotlight, just the sound of Solo standing in the ring, crowned, victorious, but utterly alone. That's the ending no one wants to say out loud, because it's not just sad, it's real. WWE has told stories of betrayal before, but never like this, never this close to truth, never this rooted in bloodline, ancestry, and fatherhood. And that's what makes this arc the most emotionally devastating story WWE has ever attempted, because it's not just the fans watching. It's the family The Rock is said to have reached out privately. The Usos, currently off air, are reportedly torn between siding with Jacob or remaining neutral, and Roman, he's been in silence for weeks, but silence is how Roman operates when he's preparing for something big, very big, and that's what everyone backstage believes is coming. Roman Reigns returning, not to fight, but to finalize. To choose who leads, to re-establish the hierarchy, to either bless Solo's rule or burn it down. One final theory has been gaining traction on private Discord servers among insiders. What if Rikishi's rejection pushes Solo too far? What if the final shot of SummerSlam is Solo standing over his own father, after a brutal, unsanctioned assault? It would be the ultimate betrayal. A tribal rejection of the old ways. The full break from tradition. And that would set the stage for the final chapter, Roman Reigns vs Solo Sikoa, blood for blood. It's not official yet, but if it happens, the story writes itself. The student turned traitor, the son turned rebel, and the tribal chief turned father figure, forced to return not for glory, but for justice. And standing behind Roman, Jacob Fatu, not just as a warrior but as the man who proved loyalty still matters. The bloodline is no longer about championships. It's about which path survives. Solo's path of control and destruction, or Rikishi and Roman's path of tradition and discipline. And SummerSlam, it's not a pay-per-view anymore. It's a reckoning. And when the lights dim, when that ramp fills with smoke, when Rikishi steps through the curtain for what may be the final time, Solo Sikoa won't just face his father. He'll face his past, his legacy, and maybe his end. The ring may be 20 feet by 20 feet, but for Solo Sikoa at SummerSlam, it's going to feel like a courtroom. Every step he takes toward that spotlight won't be about victory. It'll be about vindication, because standing across from him, if the plans hold true, won't just be Jacob Fatu. It'll be the echoes of the past. And standing at the top of the ramp, Rikishi, not as a nostalgia act, but as the last witness to everything Solo has done to his family. WWE officials are now calling this angle the most personal story in company history. And it's easy to see why. You don't have to be a wrestling fan to understand the image of a father turning his back on his son. Not out of hatred, but heartbreak. That's what Rikishi represents now. Not rage, not revenge, but reckoning. And it's not just the ring crew and producers who are bracing for that moment, it's the talent. 2.1 veteran star described the atmosphere backstage. You don't hear laughter anymore when Bloodline segments air. Everyone's quiet. They watch like it's real. Because in a way, it is. Let's take a moment to explore the cultural weight of this story.